Alright, ladies, this is Alex from Mindful Attraction 2.0, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the second motherfucking time. I'm not doing this again, if this happens again. Well, I'm going to show you guys how to love yourself. Okay, this video is going to be more extensive and more detailed than the last one, because I was just trying it out and experimenting to see how it came out. All right, but this is going to be more of the OG original version of it. All right, so let's get started, okay? So the first thing you got to realize is that you got to end the relationship that you have with yourself. That's the first thing about loving yourself, because when you have a relationship, it means you have a back and forth. It means you have almost like a split in your personality as the parts that you love and the parts that you hate. Now, the cause of your suffering is not the reality of who you are, but rather the split that's caused as a result of your misperception of reality and the concept of who you are. Like, I'm not trying to use big words, but this is the best way I could explain it, all right? So the concept of who you are is not really a split personality. It's not really the good parts and the bad parts. You see, that's not who you are, because that's as a result of you identifying with thought form, identifying with a mental concept. I am this, I am that. Something happened in your life and it hurt you. And as a result, you take on that identity. If somebody hurt you enough time, you begin to believe that you are the victim. And so you begin to have that relationship with yourself. And the concept of you are the victim is not too good for you. You don't like that concept. It makes you feel uncomfortable. So as a result, you don't want to be that. Now there is the conflict where you don't want to be what you are, or you don't want to be your mental projection, your mental interpretation of who you are. Now the problem, the self-hatred, is not in your interpretation, because that's inevitable. That is extremely difficult not to do, because we are humans. The problem is in identifying with it and taking it very seriously. It's in saying, fuck, this perception that I have of me is me. I don't want this, so let me try and be a better version of myself. I don't want to be this, so let me try to be this so I can stop being this. You see, your desire to change, your desire to improve is because you hate yourself. It's because you don't like yourself. You're trying to avoid. You're trying to. So the issue is that the solution becomes worse than the disease, because the desire to improve yourself is done from the wrong perspective. You do it from the perspective of, let me try and hide those bad parts about me through numbing the pain, or distracting myself, or trying to overcompensate by learning a skill set, or getting other people's validation, getting other people to tell us who we are, because our opinion of ourselves is not enough. You see? So as a result, you're going to become needed for that. You begin to, so anytime you feel that you're returning to that person who you used to be, or you see any sign of who you are, or the person that you're trying to suppress, you work harder towards being that person who you want to be. You see, so the issue in this is not in the fact that you believe that's who you are, but that in the lack of acceptance, because there are parts of us we are going to inevitably dislike. We are not going to be happy because we're getting older. We're not going to be happy because we fail at this or that. That's not the problem. The problem is receiving these is being able to accept the outcome from a realistic perspective, which is to say, I am just this in this moment, but that doesn't define who I am. You see? So what does define who you are? So who you are is not what you perceive, because all of those things that you like and dislike about yourself are just objects in your awareness. All of those things, the reason why you like and dislike yourself is because you are perceiving an object, you're making it more than it is, it's just a thought, but because within that thought there's an emotional charge to it. Suddenly it's not I just hate myself, but now is I hate myself, contraction of emotion. And now that contraction of that muscle contraction creates different memories and it even distorts memories to fit that model of the world that you have of yourself. So what you have to do then is observe all of those positive and negative aspects you have of yourself. Because in the past, you were doing the total opposite. In the past, you were suppressing it through trying to distract yourself, or through distract yourself through validation, or through trying to get or through trying to use another source of stimulus. For example, like trying to use drugs, or trying to read a book to feel better, or trying to go out with someone just so that you can enhance your self-image. All of those things are done in an attempt to not face who you currently are. So realize that who you are is not what you perceive. So any aspect of who you are is not you. It's an object. In every direction that you look, there is an object. If you try to look towards your thought to see who you are, for example, you say, "Who are you?" I am this. Boom. Suddenly there's an object. The answer to who you are is a thought, and that thought is an object. So that cannot be you, right? Of course not. Then let's say you feel an emotion of feeling shitty. Okay, observe that emotion. How does it feel? Oh, it feels tightness here, tightness there. So are you the muscles? No, you're not, because if something happens to your muscle and they get ripped out, as long as you have your brain, that's still you. So that's not you then. So in every direction that you look, you're not there. So what is? So there are different objects, but somehow within all of those differences, there's something there's a continuity. There's different objects, but something remains the same. I think that's your consciousness. I think who you are is devoid of a form, devoid of a concept. And so then that's where a lot of people are going to struggle. That's where a lot of minds are going to struggle, because the mind has a tendency to say, fuck, wait a minute. So you're telling me that I am not any object? That's bullshit. If that's the case, then that means I'm meaningless, I'm useless. So the brain and the mind begins to try to look for different objects. See what I'm saying? So what you have to do is, rather than just be the object of your awareness, which is to say, I am this, I am that, because the thought arises, you want to create space so where the thoughts arise, you observe them. And so now there, you become you. Now there, you become to really love yourself. Why? Not because you're observing the different aspects of yourself, but because you're seeing how can I say, you're seeing the things that are arising from an honest and realistic perspective, which is, these are just thought forms. These are just objects of my awareness. My emotions are just your muscle contracting in different areas. And when you conglomerate your muscles contracting certain thoughts and certain memories, it creates your identity. But when you break down consciousness, you begin to see, holy shit, this is all an illusion, because the thought forms, the images, and the mental and the physical contractions create me. But now I'm viewing it for what it is, which is just little objects in my awareness. So you begin to take the place of awareness, and now suddenly all of those things you hate about yourself, you just see it for what they are, just objects. So you don't just say that's good or bad now. You just see it. You're like, oh, interesting. You see a negative thought, I hate myself. Ooh, there, you're observing it. If you see a positive thought, I love myself. You're observing it. Like, you don't hold on to them because, oh, wow, this is what I want to be. Let me hold on to that thought. No, you're not the thought anymore. You're the awareness. So now things arise. You see it. You're not holding on to it, because as soon as you hold on to it, you lose awareness. It's kind of like when you're thinking. As soon as you start thinking, you get more into thinking and more into thinking. It becomes a momentum. So the only way to turn your attention to yourself is to experience yourself as awareness, as consciousness, like I'm saying. Like, rather than become the thought form, you become the awareness behind the thought. And the thing is about awareness, you cannot observe awareness, because awareness is not an object. The objects, the parts of you that you hate are objects, because the reason why you hate them is because you're identifying with them. It's not just a thought, it's your identity, right? So when you become the awareness, it's suddenly, yeah, you do see negative thoughts, you do experience negative aspects, but they're not you no more. So you see them, but you're able to let go of them, a lot more easily. So the way you experience yourself as awareness, since you cannot observe awareness, so the only way for yourself to observe yourself as awareness is to be the pure consciousness, which is to say, as soon as a thought arises, you don't become it, but rather you observe it. Now you are the awareness. Now you're the consciousness. Now there's peace, because if the awareness is not the thought or the emotion, that means that the awareness is self-luminous. It cannot be distorted. So yeah, you're gonna feel emotion, you're gonna feel negative thoughts arising, but now you're not resisting. There's no resistance. Remember when I told you that the relationship with yourself, there's a friction. That friction is not there. So yeah, there's gonna be parts of you that you're gonna like. You're gonna see yourself in the mirror. You're not gonna like what you see, but there's a peace behind it. Not because you're creating the peace, but because you're seeing it as the awareness. So you have negative thoughts, negative emotion, but you're the awareness. So it's kind of like you create a space. And that's how you create that harmony with yourself, where you don't love or hate yourself, but rather you are at peace with yourself. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to experience negative emotion. It doesn't mean that you're not going to experience bad things, but rather you're going to take them in from an extremely healthy perspective. There's a little bug on my camera. Let's just squish it. Asshole. I'm kidding. So yeah, this relationship you have with yourself is tedious, always at odds. But as soon as you drop your relationship, there's a release of tension. There's no resistance. You currently feel the resistance, but you're not aware of it. But as soon as you let go, through becoming the awareness, there's a fallback of relaxation in the body and the personality. From this place is where you become love, not loving yourself, but the awareness of the moment. You love the moment. You merge with it through the experience. You see, you don't merge with the moment through a concept of saying I'm in the moment, but rather you merge with the moment through accepting every object of your awareness, including the external world as perceived through the mind, and the internal world, which is made out of your thoughts and emotions. So to love yourself is to see through the illusion. You are aware of your qualities, but you don't possess them. So begin to experience your shame and your compartmentalization, and notice it. Your compartmentalization is the parts that you enhance and the parts that you try to hide. It's not that you make them better, but rather you accept them through experiencing the pain, your thoughts and emotions with full awareness, not allowing yourself to go deeply into them. So my thing is almost dead. Let me try to delete something so I could keep recording. So if it dies, it dies. 1 second. This is actually a good talk. I like this talk. 1 second, okay, guys. Sorry. Delete it and boom. Alright, now we got more space. Alright. So notice the highs. Okay, so here it is. Alright. So it's not that you make them better, like I said. It's not that you achieve this through finally loving yourself, like saying bliss. Because with that bliss has the low. You see, that's the key. It says that you gotta stop going for that high. It's not the high, it's the equilibrium, the peace that you are with yourself. You see, a rock doesn't hate itself. A rock doesn't hate itself. You know, an inanimate object doesn't hate itself, but the inanimate object is at peace with itself because it doesn't hate itself. Nor does it love itself. It's just at peace. So notice the highs and the lows for when you talk to other people. You see, bring the negative thoughts that you have of yourself and the positive thoughts that you have of yourself into full conscious awareness. Don't just use this for the negative thoughts, because once again you're compartmentalizing yourself. Do not be biased about the thoughts that you become present with. Do not be biased about the thoughts that you embrace. Don't just say, let me embrace the negative thoughts so I can finally feel better. And don't just say, let me embrace the good thoughts so I can stay feeling better. Not to see you're rejecting yourself. Observe every aspect, the good and the bad, not by seeing it and judging yourself, but rather seeing it, observing the physical sensation that's creating that emotion, and just noticing it, listening to the thoughts. I am this, I am that. You're not listening to the thought as you, like, I am this, I am that. No, you're like interesting. Let me listen. What are you saying? Just like, okay, You see, like you're like, okay. Interesting. Like you're listening to the radio of your mind. Feel as though you listen to the radio. All right. So also notice when you overcompensate, when you talk good about yourself, when you try to overreact your positive qualities, and when you try to hide your negative qualities, even not just with people but also with yourself. You see, it's not about really changing it. Again, it's not about that. It's about seeing it, experiencing your body reacting to positive thoughts and negative thoughts, and allowing your body to become used to it, so that your body in the beginning is going to be shocking. You're going to be shocked by the negative emotions, but your body grows tolerance to pain, and so the next time it's going to be feeling better and better, to the point where you don't feel no pain at all. And it's not the point to numb yourself, but the feeling of not feeling pain is not in numbing, but rather in acceptance. You're like, okay, this shit rose last time, I'm cool with it. Oh, you want to do it again, asshole? Okay, I'm here. I'm listening. That's what it is. So it's not about finding something to love, but finding something to accept, which is every aspect of your experience. So if you struggle finding your experience, ask yourself, what's my experience right now? What am I noticing right now? And just notice it. Notice the physical sensation, notice the mental projection, notice the visual sensation, notice the visual acuity, notice every aspect of your experience. Because when you compartmentalize, which is just being biased about one aspect and loving one aspect, and as a result, that means you're going to hate another aspect. Another thing that you could do to practice this in order to love yourself, quote unquote, It's to literally is to literally allow yourself to consciously feel shitty consciously. Literally just put yourself in positions that triggers your low self-esteem, and just notice the way your brain reacts. Just it's kind of like setting you up. It's kind of like Chris Hansen, where they bring the pedals and then they're watching through the hidden camera. Like, you're watching your body react to the things that bring the most pain. And you're just like, let's see how he reacts. Oh, okay. Or somebody calls him asshole and he feels like shit. Oh, okay, let me see how he feels like shit. You see, so yeah, you are experiencing the pain, but you're like observing it. It's more like you're doing it as a spiritual practice. I did that with game. I will approach women, and yeah, they're gonna reject me, but the rejection, I used it as a way to observe myself feeling shitty. Now then, I will also use it for when the girls accepted me. Because if I just do it for the shitty parts, that just means that I'm trying to say no to the negative parts of the game, but trying to hold on to the positive parts of the game. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to do this, I want to accept, but when it comes to the good things, I want to indulge myself. And that's where the pain lies also. So yeah, so then I did it with negative aspects. So with the positive aspects, put yourself in positions where you are going to feel that pride, that enhanced sense of self, and just observe yourself feeling that enhancement. And just see it. Interesting. Like, just become curious. All right? Like looking at yourself in the zoo. Seeing your body react. And that's how you begin the process of loving yourself. And you could do this to also meditating and yoga, because when you're doing yoga, you're paying attention to your body. Your body just wants you to pay attention to it, to heal it, to give it more energy, to give it more, to allow yourself to distress. Because when you're thinking about your thoughts and you're in your mind, it causes stress. But when you're not thinking and you're in your body, noticing the body, you're not thinking, because your mind, your consciousness in your body. So your mind cannot think because there's not enough consciousness to think. You cannot focus on two things. And that's how you do it, man. Different things. I put a lot on you. All right? So you guys pick out of the litter. Pick which one you guys are going to apply. And I hope you guys have a good day. And bye-bye. This is Alex from mindfulattraction.org. Take care. Deuces.